welcome. You're watching NDTV Profit. I am Mahima Vachrajani. Well, festivities are just around the corner, and with them comes shopping frenzy. Consumer spending surges with electronics and big-ticket items topping the shopping lists. From flash sales to exclusive festive offers, brands are gearing up for a wave of demand, signaling a potential boom in retail activity. This year, to understand these trends, today we have an exciting show lined up for you with exclusive insights from the MD of Vijay Sales and an FMCG analyst, and they'll reveal what is driving the season's demand and what are the hot trends that you should look out for. Well, first up today we are joined by Mr. Abneesh Roy, who is the Executive Director of Research at Nuvama Institutional Equities, who joins us now. Welcome to the show, Abneesh. Festivities are around the corner, and I want to understand that we are seeing a significant boom in terms of festive sales already. What are the kinds of trends that you're observing, and what is the kind of growth that you're auguring?
No, so currently it's more of what is happening in the Q2, because Q2 has just ended and companies are coming out with the quarterly updates. So we have seen 4 companies come out with the update, 2 in FMCG, 2 in retail. So Dabur and Marico in FMCG, and in retail, V-Mart and D-Mart have come. So I think demand in urban, there is some level of challenge. So we have put out in our report also last week that rural there is recovery, while in urban there is slight slowdown which is there versus earlier quarter. Still growth is there. Now coming to festival demand, if you see always in the media, it is there that big boost is there. But I would say that because of the food inflation being high and the job cuts in the startups and even the tech job additions, tech industry, those have been on the slower side. So I would say that yes, once the interest rate cuts, etc., happen, currently if you see still interest rates are quite high, and that's why all these EMIs, etc., continue to remain a challenge. So I will say things are still muted. But rural is where we are seeing faster recovery, and any consumer company which has more exposure or indexation to the rural, we'll be more positive on those names. But urban, I would say the demand is a bit muted currently.
But Abneesh, are you seeing more optimistic consumer sentiment overall with the kind of offers and promotions that are already happening on the e-commerce and quick commerce space?
So if you see quick commerce, e-commerce and FMCG, offers is a way of life. So every quarter, every year, those offers will be there. So based on that, nothing changes because consumer is used to it. So I would say that currently what we are seeing in terms of consumption, more growth is there in the value side. So value apparels is something we are quite positive. So V-Mart we are positive, and even Trent we are quite positive because it's doing so well in the Zudio. So consumer is going where there's value, everyday low pricing, rather than just because of festival, some discounting is there. That's there in the base also. Last year also exactly same thing happened. So let us not get carried away that, okay, there is a discount, so consumer will get excited. Indian consumer is very, very smart, very value focused. And we are seeing that where necessity is there, he's going for consumption there. Something which can be delayed, we are also seeing that the delay is also happening. So yes, I would say that this is way of life, nothing new.
And are you seeing quick commerce stealing the show completely? Because, a lot of reports have come out saying that quick commerce growth will outpace e-commerce growth as well.
Yes, that will continue to happen. We are seeing that definitely even in the FMCG companies, quick commerce is growing faster than e-commerce, and both quick commerce and e-commerce are growing faster than the general trade. So general trade, definitely there's a big challenge for the mom and pop shops, and they would need to adjust to this. So we are expecting that yes, for FMCG and in general consumption, convenience and quick commerce is very important, but ultimately profitability will also be needed. So we will see that the larger players in the FMCG or in the broader consumption, eventually they will dominate even the quick commerce, because ultimately quick commerce also, they have the dark stores. They would also like to work with lesser players. So we will see consolidation eventually. But currently, yes, quick commerce is growing quite strongly. And we expect in the near term, medium term, that will continue to be the fastest channel of growth.
Got it. And, discretionary spending on categories like travel, premiumization, as well as entertainment is increasing. We saw how Coldplay tickets were sold out. We saw how Diljit's concerts were sold out within seconds. But I want to understand that is this coming at an expense of retail purchases? Do you see those trends, shifting towards more of urban consumption side, or how are the trends playing out?
Yes, customer clearly is prioritizing something which is very, very rare. So that's why Coldplay did really well. So he's prioritizing something which is different and something which is value. So that clear choice is being made by the customer. But anything which is a bit discretionary, which can be postponed, or if there is a value offering which is cheaper and almost similar quality, customer will go for the value option rather than going for the premium option. So we are seeing that yes, in the higher end of apparel, for example, or even in the footwear, there is a slowdown which is still there. And yes, more slowdown is in the urban rather than in the rural. Rural, there is a recovery in a lot of the categories, and we see that continuing because next 4-5 years we have the coalition government at the center, and the states are also giving a lot of freebies. This year, of course, election, the monsoon has been good in most states. So the sentiments are definitely improving in rural. So we'll bet more on the rural side of the demand rather than on the urban.
Got it. But if you want to play this urban consumption trend in the best way possible, what will be the counters that are, set to benefit the most from the kind of urban consumption trends that we're observing?
Yeah, within FMCG, as I said, we'll be much more indexed on the rural. So we'll prefer HUL, Colgate. We like Britannia. We like Bikaji Foods also. Even Alcobep companies, which are more indexed towards urban, they will have a bit weakish Q2, but H2 we expect good recovery. So we are quite positive on United Spirits and United Breweries from a H2 perspective. Q2, there can be some softness because of the reasons which I mentioned, that still consumer is making choices which are more focused on value. Plus, definitely because of very high rains, out of home consumption, and the cold beverages were impacted. So beer, there will be a slight impact because of that. So coming back to your question, in terms of urban plays within consumption, we like United Spirits, United Breweries. From a longer term, we also like Asian Paints. And in the more discretionary segment, we like Trent, we like Titan also, and we like definitely V-Mart. These three we like in the retail.
Got it. Abneesh, one more observation. Consumers have been opting for credit to make their purchases. So I want to understand that how do you see, affecting the entire consumer behavior, and how does this play up? What are the trends that you're observing currently?
No, that we don't track. That I think the banking analyst will be able to spend more time, because in our categories, if you see FMCG, obviously this is not much of relevant. And even in case of say value apparel, we are more positive. There, I don't think it is much of those kind of a interest EMI or those kind of a payment. So this is more relevant for the durables category, or maybe from the banking expert. They will have more clarity.
All right. Abneesh, then tell me one thing. There has been a notable decline when it comes to, restaurants. I'm not talking about the delivery, but the dine-in part of restaurants. So I want to understand that in the festive season, what are the trends that you're observing? And not just festive season, how do you think, the dine-in restaurants will play out in the next coming 3 to 4 years?
So in the near term, we will continue to see delivery format grow much faster than the dine-in format. So clearly, customer is getting much more convenience, and definitely, if you see the Jubilant Foods in the Domino's vertical, they have become very aggressive, and they have made free delivery for most consumers. So that is something which is driving market share gains for them. So we see Domino's growing much faster than Pizza Hut, for example. But within the broader space, we will prefer players which have more delivery rather than dine-in. So dine-in is a challenge in the near term. So clearly, customer is going for the more value options, going for different cuisines, and definitely Swiggy, Zomato have made much more options rather than go to the few dine-in options. So dine-in is a struggle in the near term. Medium long term in India, everything looks good given the per capita increase and the overall hockey stick curve and improvement in terms of the urban from a longer term perspective. That remains good. But near term, medium term, I think clearly there is a challenge. Coming back to QSR, we will see faster growth in Domino's for sure, and we will see in Q3 almost 8 quarters of slowdowns, almost 2 years of slowdown. So what has happened is within QSR we have seen huge cannibalization. Every store is expanding very aggressively, and customer is also now going beyond just the branded QSR. He's going for the regional offerings, and a lot of startups have also come. And because of Swiggy, Zomato being very aggressive and so many options, there is a competition for the QSR. So we see near-term QSRs in terms of festival demand also being a bit challenged. Of course, the base has become favorable. So in Q3, of course, because marriage season is also strong, and this time festival, there could be a bit more optimism in the smaller cities because of the monsoon, because they are linked much more to the rural. I will bet that the recovery in QSR will start more from the smaller towns rather than the bigger towns. Bigger towns, more competition. And as I said, the impact of the food inflation, perishables, and the interest cost in terms of the EMI is much more on the bigger cities rather than on the smaller cities.
Got it. Abneesh, I'm not sure if you track the jewelry space also, because the gold prices, the demand expectations are such that gold prices are now, again rising. There was a rate cut, import duty cut on gold, which did see a lot of surge in demand. But now again, since the gold prices have picked up quite a bit, the demand kind of looks it's slowing down a bit. So what are the trends that you're observing there?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Indian customer, whenever he sees that prices of gold have shot up sharply, he either delays the purchase or he has a budget in mind. So when there is a marriage, he doesn't have a budget in terms of the grammage of jewelry. He has a budget in terms of rupees. Okay, I have to spend this much. So if the gold prices moves up, automatically the grammage reduces, and we are seeing exactly the same thing now, because now the gold rate is higher than what it was before the government cut the custom duty. So we are back to that issue of very high gold prices. Yes, marriage season is strong, but what we will see is in many cases customer will go for a smaller grammage, smaller carat, and in diamond clearly there is a big challenge currently, because diamond prices have also come off. Plus, whenever gold goes up, we see that studded share drops, obviously, because gold sees the inflation, while in diamond there is a deflation. So we will see margins for jewelry companies clearly being under pressure. But yes, in Q2, because there was the huge benefit post the duty cut by the government, we will see Q2 sales being very strong. Because a lot of the pent-up demand was there. But if we speak currently, the demand has slowed down. So it is more of the pricing growth which is driving. The volumes and SSG will see that impact of customer delay. So now things are back to slow in terms of being more towards marriage-related demand. The pent-up demand is now clearly over.
Got it. And any views on lab-grown diamonds? Do you see that? Because, Senco Gold is the only listed player who's, selling lab-grown diamonds under the Senes brand. But no other listed players are doing that. And, as far as, all the listed players' commentary on lab-grown diamonds has been that the demand surge has not been seen yet. So the kind of lab-grown diamonds that have been produced in India, they've 90% of them are being exported right now. But your view from a longer-term perspective?
So we don't cover Senco, so I cannot comment on that. But yes, coming back to a specific question, we see in India customer being much more loyal to the real diamond. See, the issue with the lab-grown diamond is two things. One is, if you see, every year prices crash. Last few years, prices have crashed some 70, 80, 90%. So Indian customer, if he sees so much of his budget deployment getting eroded by 70, 80%, he will not come back to that commodity class again from a asset deployment perspective. So in our view, clearly in India, both kinds of diamond will have takers, but we don't see a big switch of the current real diamond customer towards lab-grown diamond. In our view, lab-grown diamond will be more of daily purchase and those kind of small ticket item. We don't see the marriage demand or the deployment of his money into jewelry that going to lab-grown diamond at all. It doesn't work that way. So much of a disruption is there, so much of a value destruction is there. We will not see Indian Indian customer deploy his hard-earned money towards lab-grown diamond from a asset class perspective. It is just of a daily wear, etc. So both can do well, but things in India in terms of consumption move very gradually. So we will still continue to see in the near term, medium term, real diamond is what will really drive. In India, the lab grown diamond is more of the entry level and daily wear, not from a real marriage jewelry or from a long term asset deployment perspective. We don't see that. That is a big risk because so much of value destruction is there for the last 4-5 years.
Right. And Abneesh, you've already told us, which stocks and which pockets are you bullish on. But, one last quick question, top 3 stocks that would, play out best this festive season according to you. What's the best way to play this, play fairly in this festive season?
So festivals, as I said, is still we are too early. Still 1 month left for Diwali, so we'll get to know later. But my sense is clearly trend is something which we continue to like, irrespective of festival being there or not. Frankly speaking, from a yearly perspective, festivals don't matter. Festival was there last year also. Festival is there this year also. Of course, Titan should see benefit because now marriage demand is going to come back. Plus, the gold inflation pricing will help them. Yeah, grammage will take a knock and there will be, as I said, pent-up demand won't be there. But because gold prices itself have moved so much, at least the gold jewelry part will see a strong growth aided by the marriage season also. Plus, apart from this, I think V-Mart is something which we definitely like. V-Mart had a lot of struggle last 2 years, but finally, if you see last 2 quarters, there is a good recovery, double-digit same-store sales growth has come back across format. And plus, it's a play on in the tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns. So they will get the rub-off effect of the rural recovery. So these 3 names, V-Mart, Titan, and Trend. In the broader consumption space, Alcobev is again a great play. We do see in the festivals and the marriages consumption definitely going up. So we are also positive on United Spirits and United Breweries.
All right. Well, Abneesh, thank you so much for giving us those insights in the entire consumption space as well as what festive seasons look like. And thank you so much for taking our time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit.
Thank you.
Right. So, right.